What's up, everybody? It's the Tricky Guy Podcast. I'm your host, Brent Bilski, a.k.a. Double B. Plenty of things to get into today. The NBA playoffs are upon us tonight. I will definitely go through those a little bit more in depth in a minute here, give you a couple upsets that I have as a possibility. Also, a little bit later, stay tuned. I got some interesting pettiness. I want to focus a little bit on just some absolute pettiness.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Kids, Little League, UFC fighters. There was some stuff I have and some video that you have to check out. Absolute bonkers. But I'm for it. Some of this I'm for. Not all of it, but some of this I'm actually for. But yeah, like I said, NBA playoffs are amongst us now, so that's great. Everyone's very excited, including yours truly. Favorite time of the year.
Don't talk about playoffs?
Yep.
You kidding me? Playoffs?
19 teams are going to be failed to chase the ring. We got 20 overall now thanks to the play-in tournament, but 19 of you will chase the ring and you will fail miserably, just like this poor bastard. Before I get into the breakdown, 19 E teams are going to feel like this guy. This just happened recently. I want to say an Atlanta Hawks game. Oh boy, check this out. Everyone. I think you guys know where this is probably going. You see this happen a lot at basketball games, and yeah. Oh, that sucks, yeah. By the way, I can see in the background that was a Raptors-Celtics game. Look at the assistant coach. The assistant's looking at her like, damn, flat out just said no.
Damn, Daniel.
But look, there's a couple rules I have to, doing this. For one, as far as if you want to, I'm going to get, let me look at this, because the face looking at me and is distracting me. So one more time, this was a Boston and Raptors game. My man here is calling out. Everyone got his suit on. He's looking fresh. Got the chain on. You know what I mean? She doesn't know what's happening. Come on. Everyone, I'm going to get down on one knee. I'm about to get me a wife. Come on, baby. Let's do this forever. Nah, son. Mm-mm. I feel somewhat bad for my man here, whoever he is, and but I do have two rules on this, and make sure to pay attention if you're one of these people who doesn't want to be like my man here, chasing the ring and then not getting it. A, stop doing this at games. Proposals at games has got to be the most cliche thing ever. I mean, I'm not even a love doctor like that, but I mean, I got to give some respect to the ladies here. This is...
I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine.
You got to understand, I mean, whatever your proposal story is, you do realize that's the story, if things work out, that they're supposed to tell the rest of their lives. You do understand that, right? Like, they really would like to have, this is a lot of times, traditionally, women will get together and be like, oh my God, so how did he propose? What was he wearing? What did he do? Da-da-da-da-da. If it's the 9 millionth time that they're like, oh, we were at a baseball game or we were at his favorite basketball game, and it's like, ugh, you really? Proposing at the game, dog? Like, that's the most unoriginal by far proposal.
Really?
That you can do.
Really?
And the other thing I got to say about my man here and his face, just the combination of his face, the assistant's. But don't do this publicly if you're not sure. You know what I mean? Like, already ask for the dad's hand, kind of, let it leak out that at some point you're thinking about getting down on one knee and doing a proposal, even if it is at a basketball game, which is cliche as all get out. I would send some feelers out and be a little more, not you never know 100%, but you should know a little bit more before you pull what my man did. I'm going to do it one more time. This is just I like it's like a car wreck. I can't one more time. Just this can't be fake. She looks genuinely surprised. She looks shocked. I mean, yeah. And his that look, that face, that does suck. That sucks, man. Oh well, hey, at least you know now if it's not going to work out. Maybe better luck next year. Better luck next year. Poor bastard. I got to find out maybe if there's a story behind that. I would love to know more of it. But yes, like I said, 19 teams are going to be feeling like him because we are officially in the NBA playoffs where only one can stand.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
The main thing that's happening tonight, and we will have the result by the time this podcast gets out, but I do have to send, I was genuinely shocked because LA Lakers, Minnesota Timberwolves play each other tonight in the play-in game. This is for the 7th seed. I was genuinely shocked. I did not see this coming. I was actually dead wrong on this, that they suspended Rudy Gobert.
The price is wrong, bitch.
I really didn't think they would actually do it. Now, this was just a sad situation of, man, life coming at you quickly. I've mentioned that 100 times. I mean, getting in a fight on the bench. And that was like one of many things. But the Minnesota Timberwolves, in case you missed it, did actually suspend Rudy Gobert for a game for their altercation, which I had, and I will play one more time for you here in case you didn't see it. So him and Anderson, Rudy Gobert, the guy that they traded like 4 first-round picks for, him and Karl Anthony Towns, they were really thinking this could be something that gets them over the hump, and instead is looking like the reason they're probably going to be relegated at least to just playing for their playoff lives in order just to even get into the possible 8th seed and most likely lose to the Denver Nuggets. Because right on the last game, second quarter, him and his teammate get in a fight.
That's just something you don't see every day. I know the tensions, you've played in this game, you've been in a lot of heated battles, but
I don't know that I've ever seen. I've never.
Yeah, and that's why in the end they decided to suspend him. They basically told Gobert, even though he publicly apologized, and Anderson did have a part in this, although I really don't agree with the idea that just because someone says things you don't like, that especially in the middle of the second quarter in front of everyone, that you think it's a good idea to start a fist fight because someone said something that you're upset about. But they were like, bro, I mean, it was public. It was something, and the timing of this could not be literally any worse than what you pulled, but you kind of tied our hands. What you did was just moronic.
I ain't got a good brain.
So, yeah, they suspended him for the play-in game against the Lakers. This was something that he's already publicly apologized for, Mr. Gobert. And, in case you forgot, this is the same guy who, when they traded for a few years back, famously started off the awareness of COVID in a kind of Magic Johnson, do as I say, not as I do, or, maybe through failure, was making a joke about, I'm not scared of COVID, touched all the microphones, and found out he actually did have it at the time. Like, he was COVID positive, and he was at a press conference, and he thought it'd be funny and cute to touch and go, ha, ha, and touch all the microphones and then run out thinking it was hilarious. Well, joke's on you, ding dong. You actually had COVID, and that was a whole thing. And so, the Timberwolves, though, trade, their future, 4 first-round picks. They traded 4 first-round picks for this guy. And in the most important game, or right before the playoffs start, he decides to get in a fight at the, in the middle of a timeout in the second quarter with his teammate, who now I will say, as much as I don't agree with you're allowed to hit someone, was completely out of line. There was actually a quote from only like a week before this where Rudy even said him and Anderson have had a little back and forth because Anderson's, quote, leadership style can be a little bit much, or it can be a little abrasive. And the rumors go that Anderson in that huddle right there was continually calling him a bitch and for his defense. And then come to find out, one, Rudy Gobert is a former Defensive Player of the Year and takes pride in his defense. But also calling him a bitch.
The price is wrong, bitch.
When he was playing through a hurt back. I mean, the fact was that Rudy Gobert at the time of this altercation was playing through pain because he had injured his back in the victory the game before against the San Antonio Spurs. So Rudy Gobert, as stupid and French as he was behaving, he's in a timeout. He's one of the best players on the team. Now you got this role player who likes to run his mouth too much, basically saying in the huddle, in front of teammates and within earshot of, fans and everything else, stop being a bitch, get some blocks. He's playing hurt through all of that. I mean, I can see why you would be upset. But at the same time, I don't know, man. Find your inner happiness, man.
Mom say that happiness is from magic rays of sunshine that come down when you're feeling blue.
You can't do that. So in the end, I was just shocked, though, that Minnesota actually pulled the trigger on this, that they actually went through with the suspension. Now, they still have the opportunity after they most likely lose to the Los Angeles Lakers to make up for it when they play the winner of the Pelicans and the Oklahoma City Thunder, in the next round of the play-ins. But still, I mean, just overall, it's an amazingly interesting, the timing of the situation, all of that was pretty significant. And to see that he got suspended, and that wasn't the only stupid thing that the Minnesota Timberwolves did that night. No. They're also down a couple other players because one guy decided to punch a wall, McDaniels. Let me play that one for you one more time. This guy was brilliant. I mean, talk about just 81 games and you feel like you're hitting a stride and doing good. Anthony Edwards, by the way, has been a godsend now in his second year doing his thing. But yeah, so that happened, and then the same quarter, this ding-dong punches the wall because he's in foul trouble.
Right here. When he swings,
crack.
He grabs his hand immediately.
Broke his damn hand. He's out. He's out for the season now. They just lost their other backup center, Naz Reid, to, I believe, a stomach. But anyways, he's out for the season as well. So McDaniels was their top defender, and in tonight's play-in was going to be the one that was supposed to be specifically to help lock down LeBron James. So on a side note, if we come back from this broadcast and the L.A. Lakers did not move into the 7th seed in a pretty good matchup for them against the Memphis Grizzlies, and you still want to tell me how great LeBron is and how he's close to Jordan and everything else, I don't get it. I don't know what to tell you, dog. I mean, this is, if there has ever been a golden little road just laid for a team, the L.A. Lakers, after all of their troubles, starting off, I want to say 2-10, they've had the best record, or one of the top 2 or 3 records in the NBA since the All-Star break. Anthony Davis, they picked up that Vanderbilt kid. They make some nice trades. Austin Reeves is starting to come into his own. They are surrounded now with, young and older talent. Nice combination. D'Angelo Russell, by the way, will be playing against his old team, and he's had a little bit of an injury, but he will be available for this game. So you got D'Lo coming back to play his old team. That enough should be some extra help and motivation. You got to think Russell's going to be ready to go. Then you're going to have the fact that the Timberwolves are down Gobert for suspension, their backup center due to an injury, and their best defensive player because Ding Dong thought it'd be a good idea to punch a wall.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
And so now they've lost their best perimeter defender. If you're the Lakers and lose, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear after so many years now, other than the bubble title. Does anyone on? I don't want to get into this.
Where are we?
Does anyone honestly put the bubble title that the Lakers won that year on the same level of like any other championship in any other year where you have to go and play in hostile environments and travel for road games and deal with all this extra tension? And I mean, do we really? I don't know, man. People want to say that I'm being a hater on LeBron, but this will be interesting. If we come back and the Lakers aren't in the 7th seed, I don't want to hear squat. They most likely will, though. I honestly think when push comes to shove, you will see the Los Angeles Lakers in the 7th and give the Memphis Grizzlies, by the way, a good run. So let me break down, because there is the first round. I do have a couple things I want to mention as far as possible upsets. The Denver Nuggets, though, let me go through each matchup here. So the Denver Nuggets, we're still waiting on their opponent. Could be the Lakers, could be the Timberwolves, could be the Pelicans, could be the Thunder. Whoever it is, if they don't win easily as a first seed, then everything that we've said about Denver and the questions that we've had as far as, do they really have the championship moxie? Are they too soft? Is Jokic this multiple-time MVP that he should be? If you can't beat the 8th seed with Jokic and Murray back and Michael Porter Jr. and some other decent players around them, Jokic, I will say, for everyone being so upset at the idea of him getting the MVP, a lot of people hating on that.
I hate.
And I understand, because he's already gotten the last 2 in a row. So Jokic has won the MVP the previous 2 seasons. Looks like this year it really is Embiid's to lose. And if not, Giannis makes a great point for that as well. But at the same time, Jokic this year averaged 24.5 points, 11.8 rebounds, and 9.8 assists. He almost did the averaging of a triple-double, which we've only seen like with Russell Westbrook, Oscar Robertson, and they've all been guards. He would have been the first center in his quote-unquote year he doesn't deserve it. He has the number 1 team in the Western Conference. They have the best record, and he's the leader of that team. And this year, Jokic averaged 24.5 points, 11.8 rebounds, and 9.8 assists. Was really, and if you round up, the first center ever in the history of this league. And you can think of all the greats: Wilt, Kareem, Shaq, Olajuwon. He would have been the first one, and really kind of was, to average a triple-double and lead his team in the Denver Nuggets to the first seed.
What does that do? Does that blow your mind?
Point being, whoever the 8th seed is should be fodder for the Denver Nuggets. Now, the Memphis Grizzlies next at the 2nd seed will be taking on whoever the 7th seed is. We're still waiting on that. I do believe it's the Lakers. And if it is, interesting situation you got between the Memphis Grizzlies and if it's the Lakers. Anyone else, Grizzlies cruise, go on to the next round. Lakers, again, do have the best record since the All-Star break, or one of the top records overall. They have Anthony Davis. The Memphis Grizzlies are now down Steven Adams. He's out. He's hurt his knee. He's out. Clark, his backup, is out. They are down their bigs against a team in L.A. that's pretty freaking big and can bully you and can do a lot of things and have a lot of experience and have LeBron. In the end, they have LeBron James and Anthony Davis, who are fresh off of their, not fresh off, but a few years off of their title, still have championship experience there, still has the so-called GOAT. So there's a very good chance that you could see that would be one of the upsets I would pick. If LA gets in like they should, because they should beat Minnesota with all of their stuff going on, then you go against Memphis Grizzlies, who all they got to do is steal one in Memphis, because the Memphis Grizzlies, by the way, 16-25 on the road. Golden State Warriors, for everything I talked about this before, for as bad as Golden State was, they were 11-30 on the road, or whatever. Yeah, their horrible record. And the Memphis Grizzlies were right behind them with one of the worst records at 16-25 on the road.
What does that do? Does that blow your mind?
They don't travel well. So we could see that could be a very interesting one. Of course, I love the idea that the Kings and the Golden State Warriors are going to be playing each other. I really wanted Golden State in the 6th seed, so we have the 3rd seed Sacramento Kings, 6th seed Golden State Warriors. I will also go with the quote-unquote upset, although I believe even Vegas doesn't have that as an upset. I can break that down more later. I have some other things I want to get into. I've talked ad nauseum about the Golden State Warriors, but the return of Gary Payton and Andrew Wiggins will be back in this playoff run for this extended, hopefully push as they try to repeat as champions. Their road record has been abysmal, but with Peyton and with hopefully Wiggins coming back, their biggest issue on the road, besides their turnovers and size, was defense. They went from the third top-ranked defensive rating team in the NBA at home to 29th on the road, the Golden State Warriors.
What does that do? Does that blow your mind?
Guys like Peyton and guys like Wiggins can really help them out in those categories specifically, especially on a guy like De'Aaron Fox, who is a dog. Sacramento Kings, now, I want to give them credit. They have the number one rated offense. Getting a little tongue twisted there. Number one rated offense in the entire NBA. They've scored the most points for a season in their franchise history. But they're young, they're inexperienced. There's really no road here. It's two no-cal teams playing each other. You know, the bus ride from Sacramento to Oakland or San Francisco, is an hour and a half. This is really kind of home and home. There's going to be fans on both sides. This isn't truly a road struggle. So there's a lot of reasons I would really think the Golden State Warriors should be and will pull that one off. The Suns-Clippers, what do we got to talk about? I mean, Paul George is out. The Suns haven't lost since Kevin Durant's been back. Clippers win more than one, I'll be shocked. I'll be honestly shocked if the Clippers win more than one in the 4 and 5 matchup. Eastern Conference, now, of course, again, same thing as far as the Bucks versus whoever makes the 8th seed. This should be also a wash. The Bucks are, and I will call it again, in my opinion, by far and away the favorites to win the NBA title this year. Home court throughout, where they're 32-9. They will not play a series, including the finals, where they will not be at home court. Giannis Antetokounmpo, who also has a very good argument for MVP, averaging 31, 12, and 6 with 55% shooting from the field because he's a mutant. The only one to put up stats like that at 55% from the field was Wilt freaking Chamberlain. He's got guys like Holiday come back into form. Middleton's averaged 19 and 7 in his last 11 games. They added Crowder. They got guys like Portis. They got Lopez. They got size. They got shooters. Bucks should win in a rout on whoever poor bastard gets stuck in that 8th seed. The other one, I'm sorry, the Cavaliers and Knicks at the 4 and 5. I'm just going to tell you, I just don't care.
I don't care. I don't care.
I know Knicks are a big market.
He does not care. I don't care.
Whoever wins, I would take the Cavaliers, honestly, I think just because of the Donovan Mitchell factor, and the Knicks are still, besides Brunson, and Randall has had a good year, I don't really care who wins that one. To me, Sixers-Nets, again, should be a wash. I mean, this should be pretty easy here. Embiid, the MVP. Harden also having a great year, although Harden does have issues with his Achilles and said he has had issues with his Achilles for some months now. That's something to keep an eye on. Can they stay healthy? Been a big issue with them. But Philadelphia should wash as the 3rd seed, the 6th-seeded Brooklyn Nets, who it's a miracle they even got there with the trades and everything, and losing Durant and losing Kyrie Irving and then Ben Simmons, I don't know, having a Mai Tai in Cambodia somewhere doing anything but playing basketball. So you should have the 76ers pull that one off. My only other upset, and I think the biggest upset I will try to call, and this is a little early for a called shot.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
He's calling his shot.
If the Miami Heat, now the Miami Heat still have to get into this play-in. They have the winner of Miami, Atlanta, and then you have Toronto and Chicago as the ones. But if Miami can actually get to the 7th seed and take on the Boston Celtics, I don't want to say I want to say that they will actually pull it off, but I think of the top seed in the East, I know I really shouldn't, because the Boston Celtics are coming off of almost winning the whole thing last year, and arguably maybe should have and could have if Williams doesn't go down and Tatum plays just a little bit better. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, again, I mentioned this yesterday, have scored 25 points in the same game as a duo 33 times this season. So both, in 33 games this season, Brown and Tatum both had 25 points or more. The last duo to do that was Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant.
Damn, Daniel.
So they've got the star power. They've got a good bench. Guys like Pritchard just had a 30-something point game the other day. They have experience. The Miami Heat, if they can make a run at this with Butler and Harrow and Bam Adebayo and Oladipo, they got guys like Robinson and Struss that can shoot. Maybe Kevin Love, who they traded for at the deadline, is able to provide a little old magic and spark there. I got to wait to see if they even get there. Because anybody else in the 7th seed, whether it would be, Toronto, it would be Atlanta, it would be Chicago, I think that's a wash. But if Miami can sneak into the 7th seed with their history, too, I mean, you got to remember, Spo and the Heat have history with the Boston Celtics going all the way to some of you people that are listening. A lot of people, for me, it's not that long ago because I'm an old-ass man. But remember the Ray Allen, Garnett, Pierce versus the LeBron and all that, and then Ray went to, as a grown-ass man, I remember all this.
I'm a grown-ass man, dog.
It's interesting. Very interesting. That would be, so my possible upsets overall, again, I would say if the Lakers can get into the 7th seed, Grizzlies are in trouble. I already am going to say, and half of this is heart, half of this is head, but I do have legitimate reasons that as a 6th seed in the West, the Golden State Warriors can and will upset the Sacramento Kings. Could not have gotten any luckier with where they could have been or should have been, as bad as they played on the road this year, that they're able to stay in the 6th seed. And the East I have as a wash in almost every series here, except for if Miami can sneak in. I think they can give the Boston Celtics a lot more trouble in the first round than any of the other 3 teams available. I honestly do. So there you go. Playoffs are upon us. We shall see.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
And I swear to Christ, if the Lakers, if I come back and the Lakers did not win tonight's game, I'm for one, I'm going to laugh. But two, I don't want to hear it. I do not want to hear ever again how, LeBron just needs help or, he really is clutch. Nah. If he can't beat this beaten down Minnesota team and you still want to put him up with MJ and crew, you're on your own. You're on your own. Acting like a big deal. This was just the king me. I'll play this one more time. This was the last game against the Jazz. You were up like 9. And this ding-dong's putting his king crown on because he beat the Jazz, who were on the way out of the season anyways, and hits a 3 with like 40 seconds left. Not exactly Game 6 against the Jazz. Good Lord. Let me show you this one more time.
48 hours.
Yeah, 125, 117. Hits a 3 with 39.7 left.
36 points. In his final game of year 20 in the regular season.
Moving on. I had more things I wanted to get into here. Going to have some fun. First of all, let me shout out pettiness. I want to shout out pettiness. Keeping it real, and it may have gone wrong, but it may have gone right.
When keeping it real goes wrong.
First of all, let me start with the big story. So in case you missed it over the weekend, Israel Adesanya, a.k.a. the Style Bender, was able to regain in UFC. I do enjoy my fights as I transition from NBA to this. I'm not a hardcore. I'm not a Rogan. I don't analyze and follow every single fight. But if, like anything else in sports, and I do enjoy watching people beat the crap out of each other. Who doesn't? We've been doing this since the Roman times. If you give me a good, interesting story, you got my attention. And over the weekend, Israel Adesanya, a.k.a. the Last Style Bender, which might be the best nickname in sports.
All right, you got me. That's an awesome nickname.
Just a side note. Was so goddamn petty. I had to bring this to you. So he has been in a long-term feud with the guy that he beat for the middleweight championship this weekend, Alex Pereira, excuse me, and Brazilian fighter. They've been going back and forth since their amateur days or early on as boxers. There's a long history. Pereira's had a lot of knockouts against Adesanya, had defeated him before, and in a very exciting fight, the style bender, who does give you a lot of excitement, did something that some people have talked about, but not everyone has talked about. So after the fight, after he wins in a nice knockout, a good showing, not only does that make him the 2-time middleweight champion, the only one in UFC history to do that, by the way. So let me shout out that one more time. That's pretty impressive. Got some revenge. But then he did this, and a lot of people didn't understand why. So I'm going to reverse that. So if you notice, he points to the crowd and he pretends to fall down like he got put to sleep.
Alex Pereira kids react to him getting KO.
He was trolling his kids. See the kids crying? He was actually trolling the opponent that he just defeated, kids, as they were crying. He's trolling them.
You crying, boy? You crying, boy? Maybe we'll go back down to McDonald's and get you a Whamburger, some French fries. How about a Weineken? You little sissy boy! Trying to see Def Leppard sauce.
Yeah, and that seems pretty screwed up, right? That seems like, damn, dude.
Damn, Daniel.
Why you got to troll his kids? No, I'm actually for this. I'm not for all pettiness, obviously, as I've had arguments about Angel and Caitlyn and, Kyrie Irving and others that have shown me some goofiness where I'm like, bro, miss me with all that. But there is a reason that Adesanya points at his opponent's crying children and falls down and mocks them and specifically calls them out as they are weeping next to their family.
Crying all the time. Quit crying, just a push-up or something.
Because the kids did it to him first. The kid years ago did it to him first. So in case you don't know the whole story. So years ago when these two fought in Brazil, I want to say in Pereira's hometown, he knocked Adesanya out. Which a lot of people, it's a very short list of people that can do that. But his kid got in the ring and mocked him. See that? See how the kid goes to sleep like that? That's Adesanya getting knocked out. And that's the kid underneath him thinking it was cute. It's all funny at the time. And let me play that for you one more time. It's all funny at the time when you're the winner and your kid right next to his feet falls down. Look, you got knocked out. My dad kicked your butt. Oh, that's so hilarious. My dad kicked you in the ding-ding.
He kicked him in the ding-ding.
So this was just revenge. Love it. Love it. And they asked him about it afterwards, by the way, Adesanya. And he just said it. Yeah, I'm petty. Bro, I am petty as hell, and I don't give two dams who hears about it.
I'm petty, bro. I remember. So the first time he knocked me out in Brazil, his son came into the ring and then started to just lie dead next to me. And I'm like, I'll whoop your ass if your dad don't do it for you. But then, I looked for his kid, and I pointed at him, and I saw him, and I was like, hey. Just to remind him. I saw him backstage. We're cool. He's a great champion. He's a warrior. He is his story, bro. I mean that. I'm the antagonist in his story. He's beast, man. Coming from where he's come from, the adversities he's been through in his life to get to where he's gotten now and taking me out the way he has. Beautiful story for him. But like I said, tonight, it's not about his story. It's about my story, which is history.
If this was an anime, that kid now becomes a fighter and comes...
Bro, hey, man, if you can crawl, we can brawl.
If you can crawl, we can brawl. I'll take you on.
I'm a grown-ass man, dog.
I'll take on any 10-year-old crying in this whole arena. Give me any 12-year-old out there who I got some history with, and I will kick your ass right now in the octagon. Dana White, set it up. Me versus Pereira's kid. Get him to quit crying. Let's do this.
Crying all the time. Quit crying. Just a push-up or something.
Love it. Love it. Another little side note, by the way, because I was thinking about how I was tuned into this fight. That was interesting. Didn't really care much about the undercard. I know Masvidal retired, and for some UFC fans, Jorge Masvidal, legendary name, also an interesting talker, likes to do what he can to kind of spice things up a little bit. He retired and his loss as well. But I thought about it because overall I've lost, and maybe am I alone in this? Is anyone else losing a little interest in the UFC? As far as they just don't seem to have, other than him, other than Adesanya. If you're Dana White, you're pinching your nipples, you're singing to the high heavens. He's one of the last ones who gets that there's more to fighting than just the fight. Like that there's the need to sell it and to present yourself as, a larger than life kind of wrestling style. I'm a very big wrestling dude, but
It's still real to be dead.
there's a reason, even though we know the fight is scripted in WWE, that we will still be tuned in because they give us the story, they give us these characters, and you got to incorporate that a little bit to get the casuals' attention. And I thought UFC had it for a while, and between some of the, like the Paul fights that have gone and brought some attention back to boxing and feuds here and there, I really feel like UFC's popularity, even though numbers may say different, and they just had their merger, by the way, with WWE.
It's still real to be, damn it.
Made a ton of money there. The star power is kind of missing for me. Like, I can't just list off the names like I used to. So I looked it up, and this was recently updated, by the way, so I don't hear any bitching, Flapjack. This is the most recent updates of the top 10 most money-making fights for the UFC and the top 10 as far as ratings as well. And brought in these were the top 10 big money fights.
Money, money, money. Money, money, money.
All right, and I think you should be listening and interested because there was something specifically I noticed. So let me point this out.
And I read
top 10 fights in UFC history, updated as of a month ago, was Amanda Nunes Rousey at 10, Ronda Rousey Holly Holm at 9, Brock Lesnar versus Carwin at 8. You had Tate Nunes at 7, Alvarez and my man Conor McGregor at 6. McGregor dominates, by the way, the top 5. You have Aldo McGregor at 5, McGregor Diaz at 4, Lesnar Mir sneaks in at 3, but then at 2, Nate Diaz McGregor 2, and then number 1, Nurmagomedov versus Conor McGregor at 1. So when I look, though, and I noticed this, as we talk about star power ratings, why are things waning a little bit in the UFC? I cannot unnotice what I've seen and not be a little petty here. All top 10 fights, all time, all have one thing in common.
It's all right, because it's all white.
At least one white fighter.
Because I'm white.
Because he's white.
Because he is white. Look at him, man. What you
Interesting. That's interesting to note. When you look at every single one, Rousey in 10, Rousey in 9, Lesnar in 8, Tate in 7, McGregor in 6, McGregor in 5, McGregor in 4, Lesnar at 3, McGregor at 2, McGregor at 1. Every single one had one. It's very interesting. The highest rated.
It's all right, because it's all white.
Maybe I'm being petty. I don't know, but I love what Adesanya did. I'm a huge fan of the style bender. I'm glad he got his belt back, now considered pound for pound still the best fighter in the Ultimate Fighting competition, and would love to see where he goes forward, see who he faces next. Hopefully he'll be able to have some more kids he can make sob. They were flat-ass crying. They were crying. Oh, my God.
Quit crying, just a push-up or something.
I kind of want to see that one more time. Knowing that the kid did it first and, kind of, I understand they're kids, but whatever. You put yourself into it. You want to act like a grown-ass man, you'll get treated like one. Look how he points at him. Points right at him. Hey, you. Your daddy went to sleep. Daddy went night-night.
Alex
Nip
Pereira
ups.
gets reactive in getting KO.
Oh, look at him. Just all sad. Oh. I want to feel for him. I do, but I don't.
You also obviously had quite a
I can be petty.
celebration where you fired.
I can be
one
petty.
with 3 arrows in.
I'm a grown ass man, dog.
Let me show you a couple more things I wanted to get into, and then we can bounce on out of here. Some stuff that you do need to see. Since we're on the fighting and being petty a little bit, I have some videos here for you. First of all, never seen a fighter knock himself out. Check this out. Fighter actually in a kickboxing match knocked himself out. Whoops. Look at that one more time. I'm going to jump kick you in the face, and good night. Sleep. He went sleep on that. I have no idea what this is and why this man put this video up, but I thought this was, maybe this is the guy who trained the homeboy here who just KO'd himself on accident. I'm just going to say, look at this one. Got a man in his living room. Are those catcher's shin guards? Yeah, son. Kind of like if Andre the Giant maybe had like a weird emo, like whoever the runt of an Andre the Giant litter would have been, maybe named him Peanut. Anybody want this peanut? And let him, try to train him to fight. Maybe that's what that would look like. Is that kind of a good synopsis of what we're looking at? Andre the Giant's runt child trying to impress his ginormous father by lightly kicking this. I don't want to just predict he's single.
I love
but
the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine.
Might be there for you. All right, since I'm in the realm of petty, and this is just fun for me. This is an interesting one. This is actually baseball, or softball, excuse me. So the team and the coach talk about just petty as hell. We're not happy with something that happened and purposely decided to smack the umpire with a missed pitch in the face. Check this out. Parents are mad.
You can't do that. It's wrong.
That's wrong. So as they point out, after a mound visit, they are planning something and just so happened to do this. You almost have to be with it.
I like that idea, and I will support it.
The coach and the team was so pissed off at the umpire's bad calls that they're like, bruh, all right, next pitch, the catcher's going to pretend like she suddenly forgot what she was doing and walk off halfway through the pitch so the umpire could take one right to the grill. One more time. So, yeah. That looked like a strike. I'll give you that. Tough call.
You can't do that. It's wrong.
Wrong. So let's all huddle up. And take it to the face. Petty. Petty. Love it. Love it. I got so many things I want to show you. This was... I'm not going to lie. I don't even really know what this one was. This wasn't petty. This was just odd. And if anyone has any more what exactly this Giants trainer was doing to Holmes on the sideline. And I don't say Holmes in like slang. I mean, the hell was he doing to Holmes? Maybe Deshaun Watson's life would be a little better if he was drafted originally by the Giants. Some of these, if you're listening, you are going to have to go to the video, and we will go to Tricky Guy Sports YouTube, and you'll be able to see all these in case you're missing, because some of these I can't truly explain. You have to, unfortunately, just see them for yourself. But I do like watching my podcast more than I do listening nowadays, if I'm being 100%. Michael Jordan is the king of petty. I'm running out of time here, but let me finish off with this. Michael Jordan is the king of petty. And so much so, he has his own golf course because he's a, multi-billionaire. Jordan has got a lot of money thanks to his deal with Nike. Shout out to Air, by the way. Again, great movie. So because he loves to golf and gamble and compete and do all that in his older age, and he's got all the money in the world a la Scrooge McDuck, he decided to build his own golf course. And according to reports, he specifically designed it shorter and tailor-made to his exact style of play, so that he could be and beat a lot of people when they come. And that wouldn't. I don't think that was really something he wanted nationally announced, or maybe he does admit to it. I don't know. Jordan will sometimes admit, bro, I invented petty. I invented the mind game. I'm one of the original athletes who did everything I could and did not care. A ruthless type dude with really kind of a sadder end to his life, as far as you don't see a lot of people and friends around him. He just loves to still compete and gamble. He's psychotic. And he decided to build his own golf course, specifically tailor-made. You can Google all this, to really be more tailor-made, pun intended, tailor-made for his style. Even that might not be enough. Mike's getting old, dog. Mike is getting old. Let me have a little chip here on this little water hazard. And ouch. Down goes Mike. Getting old, man. Happens to the best of us. In case you've ever thought that Jordan, even the Jordans of the world, never have a mistake or airball. Even guys like Mike. Ugh. I love how he kind of bounces up like a cat. I love that MJ is still so, conscious and aware and wants to, present a certain way, that even when he falls, he didn't laugh about it, did anything. Just kind of like when a cat falls on accident and suddenly they prop their happy ass up and just prance along like nothing happened, like it's all good. Gotta love Mike. Gotta love Mike. Gotta love pettiness. Gotta love you guys. Again, we'll see when we return where the playoffs are. I'm very curious to see what happens. And if anyone else in any fight history lately will decide to point out and make a bunch of the losers' kids cry.
Crying all the time. Quit crying, just a push-up or something.
Whatever happens, I'll be here, and I'll be here for it, and I hope you will too. I will catch you next time.